In Vegas this week, we are celebrating the 5th anniversary of my lovely wife and I. And together we are Lovecraft Cocktails, although we did not do a Lovecraft-themed wedding because, well, we kind of hoped the marriage would actually last and not be visited by elder gods, because that would suck badly. So what are we going to do? We are going to start by toasting for the fact that we've been together for 5 years, 5 very happy years, and we have four members of our studio audience here this evening, but only 3 of them are actually going to be able to drink alcohol. We did have a minor incident that resulted in a hospital stay for one of our guests. So the consequence is they will not be drinking this evening. Well, they will not be drinking alcohol this evening. So we are just going to do a quick toast using a little bit of Appleton 12. And so, hey, this is an anniversary party. You go with the good stuff, right? So if you want some Jamaican rum, you don't want to kick people in the teeth too badly with how funky the Jamaican is. I'm watching my tech crew attempt to establish some sort of platform to put the phone on, so that's just kind of amusing. This will be for me.
So before you put them together.
And we will do a toast in a few moments once the tech crew actually has hands with which to drink. And I'm going to start with the first cocktail because I want to get something into Amanda's hands because she's the one that isn't going to be drinking alcohol this evening. So this has to be a mocktail. And so I have some bits of banana. I'm just going to toss them in there. Recently peeled these lemons and oranges, like some limes, they're already dry. I actually have a little bit of liquid in here before I muddle this. So rather than go with one of the citrus juices that I have here, I'm going to go with a sweet component.
We need another
and I'm going to go a little off book here. We happen to have some salted caramel sweetener, Torani sweetener, that we are using for coffee.
There we go.
So I'm just going to add a little bit of that.
If we could just, one more book or something, perfect.
Besides banana and caramel, right? It's sort of Bananas Foster-esque. So that's
best we can do.
So
that's right.
I have
there we go.
There we go. And I'm just going to take that mother and no idea how this is sounding just from an echo standpoint and that sort of thing. Now, bananas mush real well. Usually, when you stick them in with a drink, you're probably going to be blending that in order to get the bananas to all mush together. But I did not bring my spindle blender.
Really?
It's really heavy and doesn't fit well in the suitcase. So we're starting with sludge. There you go.
There's your mic.
This is banana, some lime peel, some orange peel, and some caramel. Adding a half ounce of orgeat, and you're saying to yourself, did you bring your own orgeat? No, I did not. My orgeat was also not this white. So early on, here we stopped by Frankie's Tiki Bar, and we talked to them, the folks there, and they're sort of a dive tiki bar. They're kind of cool, kind of punkish in some ways, and we asked them about orgeat, and they were gracious enough to give us some orgeat. Okay, they charged us for it, but they gave us some of what they use for orgeat. This is the orgeat that is used by Golden Tiki, which is another tiki bar that we visited while we were here in Vegas. So first of all, big shout outs to both Golden Tiki and Frankie's for getting our tiki on while we were here. We did not elect to stop by the Tiki and Tacos place on the corner. Yeah, that seemed to be a poor choice. Okay, so we've got some sweetness in here. We've got some banana in here, a little bit of lime and orange peel. And now what I want to do is add some citrus juices here to give us some flavor. And I'm just going to go with a half ounce of orange juice. No, I'm going to go 3/4 of an ounce of orange juice. Why? I don't know. No clue. Hopefully we'll get to the toast. And then I need some, so orange juice is one of those weak citrus components, and sometimes I even classify it in the weak category as opposed to a citrus. So I'm going to liven this up with a little bit of lime juice. We're just going to go half ounce of lime.
Okay.
right there, ½ ounce of lime. Put that in there. And I'm going to call this good. We'll hope that this is in fact good. So I'm going to throw some ice in here, and then we're going to put this in a glass for Amanda so that she can actually... Can people hear me? Can people hear me? Hearing me? I don't know. I have no way of checking. So I'm going to throw some ice in here. And then we're going to shake this. Because I'm just completely riffing here. I'm not even riffing. This is a completely original just brew. What we're going to do is we're going to taste this and decide whether or not it works. So we're going to shake. We want to get this really, really cold. Pretty heavily diluted because there's a lot of citrus in here. The other citrus component I have is grapefruit juice, but grapefruit juice and certain medications don't mix well, so we're not going to put grapefruit juice in here for her. That would be a poor choice. So here is a glass for her, and we are just going to pour directly in. So open pour, just like that. You know what? I totally forgot. I was going to taste this and see how well it worked. So I don't actually have a straw here. I'm just going to take one of these swivel sticks, swirl it around a little bit. Just dip this on my hand. Oh, I think she's going to like that a lot. The banana and the caramel actually work really, really well together. That's pretty impressive. But I think I don't want all this ice in here, so we're just going to do this. I'm going to open up the gate a lot. There we go. I'm trying to get some of the banana in there. Yeah, there we go. That worked. I'm going to fill this up with a little more ice. I have some crushed ice here. And I just need something to put the crushed ice on. How did I get crushed ice, you ask? Well, there's an ice machine down the hall, but it doesn't do crushed ice. What it does do is typical Scotsman. You've seen the Scotsman ice makers, right? They make ice that looks like this, these little cubes with these indents in them. You can see maybe, I don't know, you probably can't see from this range if the camera's even running, I don't know. But I always carry with me when I'm cocktailing, which is most of the time, an ice bag. And so I just threw a bunch of this in the ice bag before we went on and took out my handy dandy heavy wooden muddler and beat it to death. And fortunately, we didn't get any noise complaints from any of our neighbors, so things seem to be okay.
We're all alive.
We're all alive, mostly, I think. It is Vegas. We wouldn't tell you if we weren't. So this is going to be Amanda's drink for the evening, and I could, in fact, add like a spritz of, or a couple of drops of some bitters to it, because the amount of alcohol in the bitters is tiny.
You may need to put the mic on.
But we're going to be really, really careful. So that's going to go right there. And so she can toast with that while others toast with the Appleton that is up here.
Okay.
So
Let's all come up behind the bar and say hi.
oh, we're all going to come up behind the...
All
right.
Do not touch the camera.
So I'm gonna move this. We're gonna just put this right here. How's that? Hopefully that's good on the...
Hello, it's wife.
It's wife.
I'm gonna let
All right,
you
so
two in there so I can see the camera.
So we're gonna go with Greg.
Cute.
Greg, friend of mine from Master's program in San Bernardino.
Closer to Pooch.
Hello, everybody.
Yay. And then we have Gwen. You've apparently seen Gwen before. She's shown up on multiple of these things, and she keeps coming back. So I don't know what that says about her or us or what, but she keeps coming back. So yay, that's good. Hopefully the Rube Goldberg design of getting the camera up and running and doing our broadcast this evening. I'm staring at a Hennessy box with 4 board games stacked on top of it. What looks to me like it's probably not a hair clip, but it looks kind of like a hair clip. A moleskin booklet sitting on that, and then the camera sitting on top of that. So, this is totally Rube Goldberg. But to 5 glorious years with my wife. 2 of those were COVID years, and they were still glorious. So, yay! Oh, Appleton is such a yummy rum. So we spent a good portion of the first evening hunting around for liquor stores, and I spent a good deal of time online looking for liquor stores in Vegas. And I got to tell you, Vegas seems to like their liquor cheap. The number of times that I had Fireball whiskey recommended to me, or hey, I hear people really like this Kraken stuff, or Captain Morgan. I'm like, yeah, okay, I know what I'm getting into here. So when I saw a bottle of Appleton Estate 12-year, I said, yes, please, we're gonna do that. We are also picked up a second bottle to work with, which is not rum. I know, don't have a cow. It's fine. We do things other than rum around here. Around Lovecraft Cocktails, we do things, not just Vegas. We drink other things in other places too. We have not tried this gin, or had not tried this gin previously, but it came highly recommended from Greg on how to drink. Not that Greg, different Greg. Excuse me. And that is Ford's Gin. Ford's Gin is a dry gin and done in the London style. And we are going to be making gin and tonics, because one of the things you should contemplate if you are going to do cocktailing on the road is not get, I haven't actually drunk any of the Appleton. I just sniffed it. Hold that thought. Oh, that's so good.
Mike is working.
Yay, mic is working, camera's apparently working. I made Amanda a drink. She hasn't spit it out, so apparently that's working. So I think we're good on those notes, so yay. What was I talking about? I was talking about making plans for what you are going to do for cocktails when you are going on the road. Here's my suggestion: don't do anything totally crazy. You are going to have to spend some time doing some squeezing of juices, and we went ahead and picked up some oranges, and we picked up some limes, and we picked up a couple of grapefruit. Yeah, I know, they're pink grapefruit, they're not white grapefruit. You work with what you can on the road, not a problem. We picked up some bananas, which were entirely for breakfasts, but I think we've had multiple bananas go into cocktails now, so that's perfectly fine. But I did not carry 18 different cocktail ingredients. I didn't bring my spiced syrup. I didn't bring grenadine. I didn't bring orgeat. And in most places around the country or around the world, you can actually pick up most of those ingredients from a decent liquor store if you want to make those kinds of cocktails. But if you're on vacation, you don't want to spend the entirety of your time hunting down cocktail ingredients and or sitting behind a bar trying to make those cocktail ingredients and then using them to make really complex cocktails. Besides, people may not have a whole lot of time to sit around in the hotel room drinking, bite your tongue, or making cocktails. So something simple is kind of the way to go in that regard. Usually, we will do something with rum because that's just us. And then the other cocktail will vary some. Sometimes we do Sazerac, sometimes we do other things. The Sazerac does involve you bringing absinthe because you probably don't want to buy a bottle of absinthe while you're on the road. Star, would you please, dear, please, would you clean these out for me?
Yes.
That's the other factor here is I do not have 16 different shakers with me. I have one. So, it's a little limited in what we can do there. So we're going to do gin and tonics, and that's going to be the main, easy sort of cocktail to do. We're going to do daiquiris, and we're going to do the daiquiris with the Appleton 12-year, and then I'm just going to play around and see what ingredients we have left and throw something together in terms of probably a rum punch. I am not going to combine these two. I'm not going to do a split base cocktail using Ford's and Appleton, because I'm not so sure it would be icky, but it would take a lot more work for me to get the balance right. And since I haven't perfected that before coming on this trip, I don't want to be sitting here trying to do it in front of you because that would be embarrassing. Now, I do have a whole bunch of different bitters here that I can play around with. So what I might do is mix different daiquiris and use different bitters in the daiquiris. I know, shocking, using bitters in daiquiris. What are you thinking, you wild man? I'm not. I'm just playing around with ingredients. But I think first up, we should probably just do some gin and tonics, because I think that'll be fine.
Yay.
Who's had a gin and tonic previously in their lives, aside from the person that can't drink? Greg's never had a gin and tonic. Looks like Gwen's never had a gin and tonic. So it's just my lovely wife and me. Okay, all right. The gin and tonic is a very easy cocktail to make some version of. It's a hard cocktail to perfect, like making martinis. They're hard to get exactly right, but you've got a lot of wiggle room. So it's really hard to put together a really bad gin and tonic. It's much easier to put together a bad martini because, well, we don't want to go into that. All the ways that a martini can go bad. So what I'm going to do here, though, is I'm going to kind of batch this. And I really like having a bit of lime in my gin and tonics. So I'm going to take one of these guys. I'm going to take my mixing pint. Yeah, I carry a mixing pint with me. Who doesn't? Right?
And it's the same mixing
I
type
have a cocktail kit. It has, so this fits in this side, and this fit in the other side, and then all of the equipment either goes in here across the top or in the other half of the compartment. It all works out just fine. Okay, so ta-da! We're gonna take just a bunch of lime, quarters, eighths. They're mostly eighths, right? Yep. And then I'm going to take my muddler, which I should rinse off before I do that. Okay.
Do not pull the cord.
Yeah.
Apparently I
You'll pull the
cannot.
camera.
All right, I'm going to move forward here and release the tension on the camera. Okay. Wow. Are we having fun yet? I'm having fun. We may go. We're going to definitely go overtime because, well, we got late start and I'm just fiddling around and figuring out what we're going to do here. It doesn't need to be like, yeah, it's okay. We don't have to make it crystal clean. I just didn't want orgeat on this because it would be icky in a gin and tonic. So what we're going to do is we're just going to crush up these. I'm not going to do this too hard. I want to express some of the lime juice out and get a little bit of the oil from the rind, but not too much. If you if you grab one of those muddlers that has like the rough ends on it and just kind of pound it, you're going to rip the pith apart on the lime and it's going to get really sour and it'll be just disgusting and icky, and you don't want that. Okay, so what goes into a gin and tonic? Gin, tonic. Ta-da! So you're missing the other crucial ingredient in a gin and tonic, which is, of course, ice. Ice, right. So I'm just adding the lime because I like it. And when we were at dinner at the Bazaar of Meat by Jose Andre, Meat Bazaar, Bazaar Meat, Bazaar Meat. I think it's just called Bazaar, but it's meat. We had a couple of different gin and tonics. We had a Mediterranean gin and tonic, and then we had their Hendrick's gin and tonic. And those had a little bit of citrus in them, as well as some spice. Mine had a sprig of thyme. We're not going to do that. Star had the sprig of thyme. I had something else, or vice versa. I don't know. Don't care. All right.
And their ice was amazing.
Oh, the ice was crystal clear to the point where the gin and tonic covered the ice cube, and I had to pick the glass up and make sure there was still an ice cube in it. It looked like you could just look right through it. It was absolutely crystal clear. Pretty amazing ice program there. So that was kind of awesome. Okay, traditional measures for a gin and tonic, anywhere from 1 to 2. So 1 part gin, 2 parts tonic, or 1 to 3. Some people like more tonic than that and even maybe go to 1 to 4, but I think that's kind of overkill. I would actually like to taste the gin in mine and not so much on the quinine of the tonic water. So we're going to go with a 1 to 2 approximation, right? Okay, well, yes?
What else did we have at Bazaar?
So at Bazaar, we had the 14-course tasting menu, which was pretty freaking awesome. One of those courses happened to be some Kobe beef, and the Bazaar restaurant that's Bazaar, right? Yeah, Bazaar, as in not as in like bizarre, but Bazaar as we sell things. Where was I going with this? Oh, right. They're one of the few restaurants in the United States that's actually certified to carry real Kobe beef, and wow, was it good. We had an ounce of Kobe beef apiece, and it was, I'm not sure I need more of this. I mean, it's really tasty, but wow, this is rich and kind of different, and has a lot in common with foie gras in terms of its texture. It's very, very odd, but yummy. Quite yummy. This is what happens when you force feed cows and have little Japanese maidens massaging them and making that into steak. We live in a weird world. Weird world. Okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4 of us having gin and tonic.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go with 4 ounces of gin in that case. So we'll go small pours. Here. So we're going to go to... Why is my speed pour leaking? That's just really weird. Oh, because I'm covering up the air spout. It is not pouring rapidly. Okay, so there's 2. That's much better. There's 4. All right, so 4 ounces of gin, and in that case, we need somewhere between how many? What? I said like 3 to 1, right? So that would be 12 ounces of tonic, and this is 6.8. I may end up eyeballing this. 1 to 3, I don't know. I usually don't measure my gin and tonics. It's very strange, I know. I measure everything else, but so. Now, typically what you would do is you would just mix this in a glass. Right, so you would put the limes in the glass, crush the limes up. If you wanted to put limes in your gin and tonic, and then you would add how much ever else gin you wanted to put in there. Wow, that was really awkward. However much gin you wanted to put in there, and then 2 to 3 times that in terms of tonic, just poured over the ice, and you'd be fine. That's 2. But what we're doing is we're putting this in a mixing pint. Right, we're going to do just 4 ounces. So now we're 1 to 1, right? Yep. So I'm just going to give this a little stir here. I want to go too rambunctious because, of course, I'm dealing with carbonated stuff. Well, hello. We have a phone going off, which is rather strange. I don't know why the phone is going off. Hopefully it's not like the hotel management telling us we can't broadcast from here, because that would be very strange and odd. But it might be. I don't know. So we're going to do that and that. And those 2. And we need to go here because I need to get ice out of here.
Okay.
My hands are basically clean, I assume. So I'm just going to reach in here. I did not bring an ice scoop. I'm sorry. Like I said, you're on vacation. You have to make some sacrifices. You should be washing your hands anyway. Probably don't want to have your hands covered in hand sanitizer while you're doing this, though.
FYI, if you have your do not disturb sign up so housekeeping doesn't come in,
they will eventually do a health check?
They'll eventually do a health check. So that's what the call was.
Got it. Are you guys still alive? Why, yes. Yes, we are. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, yeah, well, just do it that way. I think that's...
It's Vegas.
It's Vegas, baby. So we're just going to go 1 here. I'm just going to keep pouring this until I run out. Right. Gin and tonics are light. They're refreshing. They're not too heavily alcoholic. They have quinine in them because that's the primary ingredient in tonic water. Well, okay, it's the secondary ingredient in tonic water, water being the first ingredient. And also they prevent malaria, so, you know, that's all good. Yeah, so quinine is, by itself, is really, really bitter. And so the British sailors and soldiers decided they needed something to cut it with in order to make it palatable. And they cut it with gin. And thus the gin and tonic was born. And then you can take and just express a little bit of lime over each one, drop these in. The same over here. I know what you're saying. My gosh, Pooch, that's a lot of gin and a very little tonic water. But now we're going to go back to the standard way you would do things, which is build it in a glass and then just pour a little of this over. Let's see how we do here. Oh no, I'm out of tonic. Oh my gosh, what should I do? I should knock things over. It's a song by the dude in Chicago, Pat McCurdy, right? Knock things over. So there we go. We're just going to top these off with some tonic. All right, get these sort of close. There we go. We're probably a little heavy on the tonic, but you know how you solve that problem? You can just add gin to it. So, that's really easy. It's especially nice for drinks that you're building in the glass, is you can always add to taste for those. Okay, I'm just going to add a little bit of some other fresh ingredients here. We're just going to drop a little bit of orange peel in each one of these, just to get a little citrus component of that.
So we don't get scurvy.
So you don't get scurvy, because you're right, you're going to get scurvy around me. Yeah, it's not happening. It's Vegas, baby. Unless scurvy is a sexually transmitted disease, you're not getting it. Right. All right, there we go. We have 4 gin and tonics. So, wife, Gwen,
I want to see
Greg.
Greg taste a gin and tonic on screen.
Hold on. Okay, yes, you can taste the gin and tonic on screen.
Let's see how this goes.
Here is a gin and tonic. I know it says plantation rum, but ignore that. It's a gin and tonic. You saw me make it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Here's to drinking pine cones. No, I'm just kidding.
That's pretty good.
Nice,
I was
refreshing.
afraid it was going to be horribly bitter, but it's actually
Yeah, kind of nice,
it's
right?
actually pretty good.
Yeah, and there's no sweetener in a gin and tonic, so yeah.
That's a keeper, I think.
Yay.
Hey.
Really good during summer when we were wandering around Disney in the before times. One of the very first good gin and tonics I had was at a Disney bar. My legs were swelling and I was hot and I was tired and the Disney air conditioning was beating down on me and it felt really good, and I was a horrible, horrible tourist by putting my feet up on another chair and ordering a gin and tonic, and took down the swelling in my legs real quick, and life felt much better after that gin and tonic. So from that point on, gin and tonics became part of the rotation. There's also other stories with regard to gin and tonics in our life, but we'll save that for another day. They involve Star's grandmother and noticing that the bartender had really nice legs. Okay, ta-da, we have a gin and tonic. Somewhere I have a glass of Appleton, right? Or that was not one of the things that got knocked over. Yay. Oh, that's so good. What else is a nice light and refreshing cocktail to have when the months get warmer? Speaking of which, it has been warm here in Vegas. 3 of the days we were here, the other 2 were not particularly warm. They did get down into the low 40s at night, yeah, which was pretty cold. And there was, so there are mountains, we can see mountains, but the rest of it is desert, and wind, there's nothing to block the wind. So the wind came screaming through, and the wind was pretty darn cold, and that was a lot of no fun. So yeah, we had 2 days where we weren't drinking gin and tonics and daiquiris. We were drinking other things, like rum straight. In particular, we were drinking rum and rum products from one of our favorite brands of rum, which is over there, right? Yes. So I remembered I didn't pull the camera off the table. I didn't do it the first time either, but that's because everybody leapt up out of their chairs going, "Don't do that." Right? So what is this? This is from Lost Spirits. Now, if you've tuned in previously when we've used Lost Spirits, you might know that Star and I actually got in on the ground floor on the IPO for these guys. And yeah, so it was a real treat for us. Lost Spirits is kind of they are not even self-proclaimed. Others have proclaimed them the Willy Wonka of rum making. And they are continuing to work on processes where they can get aging. They can get their rums to have the same flavor and chemical components of significantly long-aged rums within a week or two, just by chemical and some other physical processes that they use. That if you go on the Lost Spirits Distillery Tour, you can find out about those processes and drink 4 or 5 of the rums or rum liqueurs that they happen to have on hand. So they had this time a pineapple flavored one, or pineapple infused. They had a cherry infused. They had their Jamaican style. They had, that was the last one we had. We had the Navy Strength, which is the thing they started us out with, which I gotta say, guys, Lost Spirits, I love you, but starting out with the highest potency rum that you have, maybe not the best idea, as it chars the taste buds. Okay, it does separate sort of the men from the boys in terms of rum drinking. You know who's going to be able to make it through the rest of the evening. But we didn't walk away with any of those. We walked away with a different one. This is what they called their heavy. This was served in the chapel, guaranteed to cleanse your sins. I told the man I wanted to keep my sins because then I would have, if I lost them, I would have to go sin again. That might be fun, actually. I should maybe consider doing that. So this is the Ex Machina, and this is a heavy pot still rum. So this is done sort of in a Jamaican style-esque. It's not their Jamaican rum, which their Jamaican rum, turns out that with the Jamaican rum, they don't actually produce the rum there. What they do is they take a blend of Jamaican rums to the distillery, and then they put it through their patent processes to both blend it and age it, and that's where you get the Jamaican rum from. This is done entirely on premises. This is their Ex Machina. This comes in at a hefty 57.3% alcohol. Still not in the same category as their Navy Strength. Stuff is yummy. We have not seen this on the market anywhere else, so we had to get a bottle of that. Others of us, of the crew, I'll refer to you guys as my crew, brought back some of the pineapple. I think, I don't believe anybody came away with the cherry. No.
I got the pineapple.
Just the pineapple, yeah. The cherry was really good, but it tastes remarkably like cherry pie filling, which appeals to a lot of people. For my taste buds, I wanted to have a little more rum flavor in it than the cherry flavor. We should do a daiquiri. I think that's appropriate. Yes, we should do a daiquiri. We still have connection? We good?
Yeah.
All right, we're still good. Okay, so daiquiris can come in a variety of different proportions. Usually you are talking 2 ounces of your spirit, and that spirit should be rum, otherwise it's not a daiquiri. But you can use almost any kind of rum you want to. Most classically, the daiquiri is made with a white, lightly aged or unaged rum. Usually not an overproof, because that will just overpower the daiquiri. You're aiming for crisp and cold and refreshing. I didn't want to buy yet another bottle of rum while we were out here that I would have to open and not drink all of and then send back with Gwen. So what we're going to do is we're going to make daiquiris with a 12-year Jamaican rum, i.e. the Appleton Estate rum. So like I said, the proportions, you can play around with proportions a little bit. Usually the daiquiri is 2 ounces of your base spirit, so that's going to be 2 ounces of the Appleton Estate. And then you can go, depending on how you like your daiquiri, you can do, say, 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice and a 1/2 ounce of simple syrup, or you can go 3/4, or you could go as much as, if you want them really tart, you could do like a full ounce of lime juice and then either 1/2 or 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup. Any of those proportions work. It's a daiquiri to your taste, and different restaurants will use different proportions for their making. My daiquiris, the homemade daiquiris, I always at least start with the proportions of 2, 3/4, and 3/4. So I use even portions of lime juice and simple syrup when I make them. And then I can always adjust either one of those to taste for people. But I thought what we might do is something a little different. I will make a classic daiquiri using the Appleton, and then I'm going to swap out the lime juice and use some of this grapefruit juice that we have here and make a grapefruit daiquiri with that. So we are a little short on glassware. So these guys are Plantation Rum Smuggler's Cove glassware that we got from the Smithsonian visit that Martin Cate and his lovely wife Rebecca did. And I have 3 of those, something like that. 4. I have 4 of those from that trip because they served us 2 drinks. There were 2 of us, so we have 4 glasses. So those people that are still drinking their gin and tonics like me, you either have to find some other glassware to pour that gin and tonic in, throw it out, or just chug it, whatever. Whatever you're going to do. I can't chug it because, well, I have to drink. Sorry, I have to mix cocktails. Freudian slip. Okay, I'm going to. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to start. I'm going to make a double. So I'm going to go 4 ounces of Appleton Estate rum. Four ounces Appleton Estate rum. And then I'm going to go. That'd be 1.5 ounces. Yeah, it's 1.5 ounces of simple syrup. Let me double check. Yep, 1.5. It's a nice jigger. It is marked very well. I just wanted to make sure that that mark was not the 1 3/4 mark, that it was actually 1.5. Ooh, there's a glass. So there's 1.5. And we're going to make this one the classic lime juice base. So we're also going to do 1.5. Right. Ta-da.
And this will be stars.
Yeah, I'm totally confused as to whose glass is what, but it's all right.
That's mine.
The glass one is yours. I don't know about the others, but whatever. We'll make it work. I need in here though, so we're gonna move this. These guys go here. We're gonna need ice. Okay, ice is good. We can do that. Thanks Gwen. Thanks again to Gwen for bringing us the cooler that we could put ice in, because we go through a lot of ice on doing this show. So there's a bunch of ice. Here is our daiquiri mix. Not to be confused with bottled daiquiri mix. Don't do that. Don't do that. This is simple. Lime juice, simple syrup, rum. You're good. Don't buy a mix. Unless, of course, what, you can't get limes? Supply issues, I don't know. But if you're living in a place where you can't get limes, but you can get ready-made daiquiri mix, move. Should be ice cold. Ice, I mean absolute cold here. This should be cold enough that Amanda can't touch it anymore. Can't touch this. Dun, 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 dun. Can't touch this. Okay, I'll need that washed. The other thing about the daiquiri is it is usually served in a coupe. We're not going to do that this evening because, well, I didn't bring coupe glasses. Are you kidding? Traveling with coupes? That's insane. They're fragile. Don't do that. It is classically served up. So you have no ice in this. You have usually no garnish in it either, and it is almost always double strained because you want to get all the fine ice chunks out of it. Do I have a double strainer? Yes, I do. Because I'm me, right? So there's a little bit. Now, does this look like your typical daiquiri? No, we made it with a 12-year-old rum, okay? That's all right. It'll be fine. Amanda's over here going, gosh darn it, I want to drink this. All right, we good? Looks like we're good here. Okay, there we go. We have 3 daiquiris, 3 aged rum daiquiris. We have a Gwen, a Star, and a Greg on the daiquiris. I'm going to sit here and drink a gin and tonic. y'all can drink. Like,
Switch.
Mine's the glass.
right? Who had, so one of the glasses has a little bit of just mustiness up here. That's from putting lime juice in it.
Is that yours?
No, I think that's yours.
That's mine.
Okay, all right. It's alcohol. They got rinsed, right? So we're fine. You'll all be good. None of you will die today. On the way home, who knows? Plane flights, etc. But that's a daiquiri made with lime juice. That's a standard daiquiri. Oop, stay. And then just for comparison purposes, we are going to do just one. I'm just going to make a single and then people can taste. Lovely kava the other night as well with dinner. That was bizarre again, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes it was.
Because it was our anniversary.
Because it was our anniversary, right? What else did we do? We have swag. We have swag from our anniversary party. Here are custom-made chips for us that my wife is going to model. Not model.
Not muddle.
Not muddle. And then we have other things to show off because, of course we do.
That's tasty.
So I did mention that we went to a couple of tiki bars. We went to Golden Tiki. Golden Tiki is a very much a modern classic tiki bar. They're awesome. Their decor is great. They had live music. They were a lot of fun. Their drinks were on point. Their custom creations as well as their
Here's the other swag.
original tiki drinks. So, we heartily recommend going to them.
Deck of cards, right?
Deck of cards, right? Yeah.
Deck of cards.
You can show the back. Seriously Sinful. Woohoo, that's us. I'm going to drink some more gin and tonic. Oh, that's so yummy. One of these bottles has tonic left in it. Here, we'll do that. Because it's been warm. I've been standing and walking a lot. So a little quinine probably ain't going to hurt me. What else did we do? We went to Frankie's Tiki Room. Frankie's Tiki Room in Las Vegas. Ooh, dive tiki bar. Very much a dive bar that does tiki drinks. Okay, not in love with the cocktails. I think they're just a little on the sweet side for my taste buds. And they might be taking a few liberties with some of the drink ingredients, like using sour mix instead of doing what we would like. Again, the orgeat or orgeat. Look, I'm always going to be biased against a place that doesn't make their own orgeat. That's a knock on Golden Tiki as well, because they use Gifford's orgeat. And I understand it's a volume thing. Still, it's just go take one of your flunkies and go have them make orgeat that day. It's fine. But one thing that Frankie's has got over Golden Tiki, Frankie's specializes in having a lot of custom mugs that are very cool, and we had to limit ourselves to only buying one mug. Now, all of the Frankie's Tiki mugs are going to say Frankie's Tiki Room, Las Vegas on them, so you'll never forget, no matter how many of them you have, where you got them from, right? No matter how many of this drink you've got. And then on the bottom, they of course will tell you who manufactures the tiki mug for them. And these are not like Muntiki or Geek Tiki or the guys that produce thousands and thousands of tiki mugs. No, these are this is Big Toe, and Big Toe's a small crafter of mugs. So this is pretty special stuff here. And this is the glass from the Lava Lech cocktail, which we did not have. We had other cocktails off of their menu, but this was just the coolest glass, and you can get whichever mug you want. And so there you go. There is the Lava Lech mug. And look, he's got his little buns back here, and there's a little X on his buns because he's got an injury back there. Yeah, very cool. He's sort of
Camilla has joined.
He's sort of a mummy, I guess. It looks like there's like striping here that might be bandages. I'm not entirely sure what he's supposed to be. He's kind of creepy. He's got stitches, right? So kind of looks like
Well, we thought he was cute.
We thought he was cute, will make no comments about Amanda having to go to the hospital. She didn't have stitches. To the best of my knowledge, she has no bandage on her butt. I don't know why she would, so there you go. It is Vegas, right? How did I get that shot? I don't know. All right, but we need to do a daiquiri, but we're going to do a daiquiri made with grapefruit juice, right? So how did people feel about the proportion of sour and sweet on that cocktail? Good, bad, needs more sour, needs more sweet?
Touch more sweet, but it's fine. Yeah.
Gwen?
She said.
Touch
Okay.
more sweet.
Okay. Greg?
I'd go with that.
Greg's like, whatever. I've had more to drink today than I have in 6 months, so whatever, dude, just makes me another. Okay, fine. All right. So,
Actually, that is true. I only had that with it.
so we're gonna do what we did before. I'm gonna go 2 ounces, but we're only gonna make a single, right? Because we just want to taste. Right? You guys all have your toasting glasses? Yes. Okay, good. Because we can use those for this instead.
Okay.
Since you're probably still working on the daiquiri, right?
Yes.
Okay. So there's 2 ounces of Appleton 12. You said you wanted a little sweeter, right? Okay. Well, I'm still going to go with 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup. This is pink grapefruit juice we're working with here, so pink is going to be
right,
sweeter.
okay.
Certainly should be sweeter than the lime juice. So we're going to go 3/4 simple. I know, it's a bottle of simple syrup. There's no hot plate here. There's not even a microwave. I can't make my own simple syrup here. It hurts me too. Okay, and then we're just going to go 3/4 of an ounce. Grapefruit juice does separate a bit, so I am going to stir this just a tad. Ding, ding, ding. And we're ready to rumble. No, all right. There we go. There's some grapefruit juice. 3/4 of an ounce to be exact. We're going to load this up with some ice, because that's what I do. And if you are wondering, like you're a first-time viewer, you've never seen this show before, and you're going, wait a second, that's not a frozen daiquiri. You're right, this is a real daiquiri. It's not a frozen daiquiri. So, frozen daiquiris are a thing. Frozen daiquiris were absolutely a thing in the heyday of daiquiris. La Floridita Hotel in Cuba had, I think, 6 daiquiris on their menu, including the Hemingway daiquiri, which uses grapefruit juice, lime juice, Luxardo, a couple of other things, and a lot of rum, because Hemingway, wow, dude, man, could that dude drink. He was pretty awful at making cocktails because, well, he was an alcoholic, and he, yeah. So anyway, well, so here we go. This is not a Hemingway daiquiri. If I'm going to shake this, I should drink some rum, right? Not while I'm shaking it, because 12 year. Whew. All right, do the same thing. I'll just move this over the cord instead. Cold enough to where Amanda can't handle it. There you go. No, just kidding. So what else did we do while we were in Vegas? We went to the Mob Museum.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. The Mob Museum was pretty darn cool. I need the tasting cups so that I
We'll
can...
have to come up one at a time because we can't mark them.
Okay.
Went to the Neon Boneyard. Thank you.
Yeah, the Neon Boneyard, where you get to see all of the... Not all, but you get to see a good selection of the old neon signs and some more contemporary designs and some other stuff that is not neon, but I looked over and Gwen was kind of bouncing up and down, and I was like, I thought she was doing, like, I don't know what's that. But like corner of my eye, I'm like, what's going on? I don't need to know, it's Vegas. Okay.
We went to the Bacchanal brunch this morning.
Yep, which, engendered a Rat Pack show. The Bacchanal brunch engendered a conversation this evening about what are we going to do for dinner, and multiple people going, I'm having a protein shake. I don't know how do you have room? I'm like, I don't know. I'm in Vegas, baby. I want to drink eat, drink, whatever. Both. There we go.
Ooh, cold.
It should be.
You went and shot a great big gun.
I went and so there are a number of shooting experiences that you can have here in Vegas. They have a variety of indoor and outdoor ranges. And you can do things like drive tanks over cars, shoot automatic weapons, shoot non-automatic weapons that you can't normally shoot. And some of them have packages, and I chose the sniper package, where I got to shoot a H&K G3, which is a 7.62 by like 51, 52 grains, something like that. And the Dragunov, which is a Soviet era sniper rifle, also 7.62, slightly bigger cartridge. I think it's 7.62 by 54 or 56, so slightly bigger cartridge. It's light. Sorry, I'm going to geek out. It's a lighter gun, heavier bigger cartridge, so kicks a little more. But I really like the Dragunov better than the G3. And then the topper was I got to shoot the American sniper rifle that is also an anti-vehicle rifle. Yes, you may have seen the shell that was the shell casing that my wife put up there. Yeah, the Barrett is a 50 caliber sniper rifle. The other two weapons were handheld. The Barrett was locked to the bench, which made sighting on it really easy. It also engendered a, what the fuck was that? Sorry, pardon my language, from the rest of the firing line when the Barrett went off, because he's loud. He's very loud.
What?
Huh? Lots of ear protection was involved. So usually when you're on a firing range, you have your earmuffs on to protect your ears. They recommended if anything that is 50 caliber is going off on the range, that you also have interior ear protection. So we had the little foam squishy plugs inside the ear and then the ear pro over it, which was funny when the instructor was trying to talk to me and I'm like, what? Yep. So what do people think? This is the Grapefruit and Appleton 12-year. Gwen says no. She probably doesn't like Grapefruit. Greg's iffy. Star was like, oh, I like this one. Maybe split the sour base with a lime instead. Is it too bitter? It's too bitter. She wants more sweetness in it.
I am
Greg?
a sweet hoe.
Yeah, more sweetness. Okay, so here I'm trying to correct for the fact that the pink grapefruit is sweeter than the lime juice and did not account for how tart it was. Maybe because cardinal sin, I didn't taste my ingredients ahead of time. Taste your ingredients ahead of time. Also, you can taste the cocktail before you finish serving it, so I could have, while it was still in here, tasted it and gone, oh, that's kind of tart. I want a little more simple syrup. Give it another couple of shakes, would have been fine. But then again, I haven't tasted it. I might like this one. Who knows? Now, if it's too sweet, I could also add some bitters to it and bring up the bitterness component of it. But apparently it's already too bitter, or not too bitter, too sour.
It's too gone.
It is gone.
I'm going to disagree with you all. I like the flavor profile of this, but I don't think it's sour enough. I think the split base of grapefruit and lime juice would be better to bring up the sour component and make it a crisper cocktail. So let's see, what have we done? We've spent an inordinate amount of time trying to get the camera online and stacked on a set of boxes and a hair clip and a moleskin. We've made, what did we make? We made a drink for Amanda, which has no name because it's just a mocktail that she seemed to enjoy. There's nothing left of that. What you did not see was the earlier attempt to do something like a Ford's IV. What I was thinking of calling it the Ford's IV, which was essentially Ford's gin and some form of Gatorade, because here's the little hair of the dog. Oh, and by the way, let's get your electrolytes back up.
It was nasty.
It was pronounced nasty, but in all honesty, we got 3 different Gatorades around. We've got the lemon lime, we've got the cucumber lime, and we've got the red stuff. I don't know what that is, fruit punch thing. And I only tried it with the cucumber lime because I thought the cucumber lime would go well with gin. It didn't. No, it did not. That's not good. Don't do that. Drink the Gatorade. Then have a gin and tonic. You'll be much better off. So we did a
Yellow
gin.
Gatorade does go with Patron.
Apparently, Star says the lemon lime Gatorade does go with Patron. So Patron Silver, I assume, right? Not the Resposado. Certainly not the
I had
Añejo.
that on Jeremy's party bus.
Ah, I see. Okay. What else? What else was I thinking? Oh, right. We did a gin and tonic. We did multiple daiquiris. I did not use any bitters in the daiquiris. I could have to spark them up. But we are already over time, and we actually have to get some food into us before we run off to a show, because it's Vegas, baby. That's what you do. So, and I have to clean up around here. So, we need to run away. Thank you for joining us. Sorry for the technical sorry for the difficulties at both the front and apparently back end of the broadcast. Just thank you for tuning in and seeing us again. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. This has been our 100th. No, this is 99. This is 99. This is 99. Next week will be episode 100. Do I know what we're going to do for episode 100? No, I
Think
don't.
about it on the
We
plane
may have a
home.
giveaway.
We might have a giveaway.
What?
Ooh, a giveaway. Oh, I don't know what's going on with that, but we might have a giveaway. Can I give away a bottle of Absolute? No, that would be mean, right? So anyway, we will see you hopefully next week. Thank you very much. What goes on in Vegas evidently gets broadcast to the rest of the world via Facebook, and we will talk to you all in a week's time. Until then, Lovecraft Cocktails, Star and Pooch, we're signing off for another week. Find the big red button and say bye-bye.